Hello, everybody. This is the Maverrik Moments podcast. Dean here, and this is episode 1. And I'm here with Jospeh. Jospeh runs YOBD Digital. And oddly enough, we planned all this through LinkedIn, and Joseph's in the same city as me. So we're going to do this live. It's a bit improvised, and it's a bit kind of, we wired this up to do it over the internet. We're now doing it in person. So if it's a little bit quiet, a bit squiffy, bear with us, but Joseph's a great guy, and we're going to have a chat now. So, Jospeh, welcome.
Thank you, Dean. It's great to be here.
So, Jospeh runs YOB Digital. Jospeh, tell me a bit about YOB Digital, why you got involved in this.
Well, I've been a freelancer for about 6 years. Went into freelancing straight out of school. And just the more I learned and the more I grew my skills from primarily web development and design, I moved into project management and into marketing. And it just made sense to start a marketing agency.
Okay, cool. So you don't look like a web developer. He's smart here. He's got combed hair. He looks pretty pristine, so he doesn't look like a web developer. We'll put your picture up on the screen so that people can see what we're talking about. But tell me, when you started this, what were the challenges, just generally business, what were the challenges that you faced, and what were the biggest learning curves that you had to deal with?
Well, I left school when I was 16 to start working as a freelancer. I enjoyed school as much as anyone can, but I was really eager to get into working. And so I left with no real business knowledge. And I went, and so that learning how freelancing worked, learning how you found clients, learning how you talk to clients, all of that I had to learn as I went. And I learned pretty much every lesson the hard way. I didn't know how to use contracts. I didn't know how to protect myself in that way. And so, yeah, I learned a lot through that, through learning things the hard way. And if I could change anything, it would be to have learned that before I went into business. But yeah.
Wow. So you really had the school of hard knocks into business.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you started in business. What made you settle on web development and marketing? Because it is a difficult area of business, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell me about why you went into that particular sector.
Okay. So when I was 14, I was fascinated by film.
Okay.
I would make home movies with my friends, and that just fascinated me, and I wanted to take that further. But as a 14-year-old, everything is extortionate, especially in the world of film. And so I couldn't afford anything, and I just couldn't take that hobby any further. And so I was looking for something else creative that I could do without needing any money. And so almost by happenstance, I came across web development. A friend had a box of car boot sale stuff in his shed, and one of the things in there was a Windows 98 web development software.
Hang on, let me just stop you there. You don't look old enough to know Windows 98. I was going to say, as you said this, because I grew up without a mobile phone. Yeah. When I was about 17, I got my first mobile phone. You look like, and this is a compliment, yeah, you don't look old enough to know about Windows 98. Maybe we should ask you what your beauty regime is.
So, yeah, I mean, I had a Windows XP. Our first computer was a Windows 98, but that was before I really used it, with the dial-up internet connection. But so I that still worked on my XP. And it was sort of the predecessor to the drag and drop websites. It was actually visual first, and it generated the code. So it was way ahead of its time for what it was. And so I would play around with that and make these HTML1 websites, and then look at the code and be completely boggled at how it all worked. And so I sort of reverse engineered these websites and taught myself how HTML worked. but that was all with the styling in line and all that sort of thing. So it was really foundational, but it was almost a hindrance because I thought that's all there was. And then when I heard what CSS was, I had no idea. But that's basically been my whole journey, has been, oh, I want to do that. How do I do that? And then learning how that actually works. And so it went on from there until I took on some websites for friends and all that sort of thing. And then it just got to the point where I was like, well, I can actually make some money from this hobby because I loved it and I spent every spare minute doing it. And so that's where the freelance started.
Wow. So given you're in websites and you're doing all of this stuff and you're in the marketing world, there's a lot of business people who can say, well, this marketing world is full of fluff and bullshit, really. Yeah. How can people, let's assume we've got somebody listening to this. That's a good start. But let's assume we've got somebody listening to this. They're running a business or they're starting a business, and they're not in the kind of tech sector where they know all this stuff. What would you say the key things that they need to consider in terms of websites and marketing? What are the key things they need to consider from your experience, both as an experience of starting your own business, but also being a professional in this sector now?
That's a really good question. And that's the question that 90% of our clients ask us, is because they come to us knowing they need a website, but not knowing why they need one. The business next door has a website. Everyone has told them they need a website, but they don't know what a website is actually for. And at best, it just becomes a financial drain. So when we work with clients, we actually teach them how to use their website as a marketing tool. So, and that's different depending what the business is. So if it's a restaurant, it will be getting reservations, or if it's a product, it will be getting selling the product, or generating new leads or things like that. And so actually teaching them how they can use their website to generate those sales or whatever it is the result they're looking for is really key. And then giving them metrics that they can look at through the life cycle of their website, so they can see what they need to change or how much their website's actually doing for them. So for someone who's thinking of getting a website or thinking of creating a digital presence, actually understanding what you want your website to do for you is really crucial. And it's the first step, because you can't build a website without knowing that. So once you know that, then you can actually decide how you want to go through that, whether it's through your marketing streams, whether that's through social media marketing, or whatever it is that you're going to do. You can't do any of that until you know what your end goal is. Awesome.
So the goal is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So people can get really easily distracted into all sorts of things like, oh, this person's doing this and this person's doing that, so I want that. But if they don't have the goal in mind, they could waste a lot of money.
Absolutely, yeah, and a lot of time. And unfortunately, we've worked with a lot of clients who have they've gone with someone without realizing what they need, and it's just gone really badly for them. But that is absolutely the most important thing.
Cool. So coming back to your journey now, just to pick on you a little bit more, you've been doing this for how many years now?
Just about 6 years.
6 years. So you've been doing this 6 years. What does the future look like to you? What are you trying to achieve in this next couple of years ahead of you? And what do you think the challenges are for other people who are kind of 4 or 5 years in, and how the world is changing? How is that affecting you in terms of, social media will bring out something new tomorrow. What impact does that have? How will it impact other people? And what does the future bring, and how are you planning to adapt to it?
So a lot of what I'm doing now is personal branding and doing things myself. So not necessarily with my company. So we're starting a podcast, and blogging and a lot of these sort of things, because I've been through a lot of things, both in my personal life and business. And I just want to be able to inspire people, particularly younger people or people who are just starting this journey, to encourage them and help them not make the same mistakes that I've made. In in the business side of things, we've got a lot happening. I've got the marketing agency, and then I've got 3 other software businesses that we're in the process of starting. And so a large part of that is going to be my personal brand. And as you mentioned with social media is playing a key role in that, being myself, and getting people interested in what I'm doing through me. And I think particularly with LinkedIn, that's really important for a lot of companies. And you see the companies who are using LinkedIn right, and I know that this is sort of the way that you do it, and this is the way that I use LinkedIn, is that you are you on LinkedIn, mm-hmm. and you're not your company, and so when people see you, they see your stories, they see what you're saying, and that builds trust. And so when someone does need your service, or you do talk about your company or what you do, there's already that level of trust. And so they already trust you, and they are willing to hear what you're going to say. And so personal branding in that sense is really, really important.
Okay, so let me turn this on the head, because we've been talking about technology and websites and stuff. We live in a digital age where you can go online, or you can speak to Alexa and it will do all the orders for you and all this kind of stuff. Where does human interaction fit in this? We talked about personal brand, and I'm a big believer in people buy from people, and LinkedIn, and people have to know you, and trust is a massive thing, particularly now it's so easy to just set up shop so quickly. How much is the human element going to be lost in the future, or will it not? What's your thinking on all this technology and human interaction? Where's the balance?
That's a really good question. And that's another reason why I wanted to move from a freelancer into actually running my own company. And that's because as a freelancer, pretty much all of my clients were in a different country. America and Australia were the big ones, and they're thousands of miles away, and there's no personal interaction. And now that I've started a marketing agency, nearly all of our clients are local, or at least in the UK, and that just brings so much more of a personal aspect to it, especially when you meet someone in person and you connect with them on that personal level. I think the companies that are going to do it right, they are going to keep that personal touch there, whether that's through the way that they use social media, or actually people interacting with each other. But without that personal touch, I really think that brands are going to suffer, because at the end of the day, people are never going to stop being people. Mm-hmm. And so they're always going to want to be treated as such. And for me, I don't like it when I'm sold something. I like it when it feels like a conversation. It solves a problem that I have. And you can't do that without a personal touch.
Mm-hmm. So, feeling like a conversation. Just so you know, this is completely unscripted, and Joseph doesn't know what I'm going to say next, and I like it that way. I do the videos like that, and I do it because people do get to see who you are and what you're about. So I'm going to ask you a question now, and where do you think you as a person in your business can add the most value to another business? What are the things that you can do that you feel can really add value to where somebody's going and where they're building their business?
So the key part of our marketing agency and the other software products that we're developing, it's about a very personal touch, as in coming alongside somebody. So I spent a brief period last year working for another company, and that was more out of necessity than anything else. But their work ethic was not personal. They were not interested in helping their clients. They were more interested in managing them and just doing the job. And after the job's done, minimal interaction. We take the opposite approach. When we work with somebody, we want to become a partner with them. And so after we've built their brand, after we've set up their marketing, we do either monthly or quarterly strategy meetings, and these are very high level sort of meetings where we look at every aspect of their business and their digital presence and just see how we can improve that. But we do things like we do business lunches where we'll take clients out for lunch on us, and just personal interactions like that. And so we really try to become a business partner with the companies and the individuals that we work with, and actually showing an interest in the clients. And it's all about that personal relationship, and that's what our company is about being personal, no matter the size of the project.
Okay, so you're probably a bit like me then. So just where we're sat here, there you can see some whiteboards, and what we do, and you may do something similar. So our clients' goals are our goals. So in the past, in my working world, I've done exactly what you said about managing clients rather than, and it sounds like semantics, doesn't it? But there is a fundamental difference between managing a client and almost delivering for a client. They're two different things. And I've been guilty of managing a client where you do what you need to do to get through the day. So what we did, and you give me your feedback on this, is we wrote the client goals. So there's one whiteboard over there and there's one whiteboard over there. And we literally write down the sales and new business goals for the client. And each day we're looking at it going, have we delivered today? And it may not be the slickest of systems, but visually we can see, are we doing what we're setting out to do? Do you do something similar?
We do. When we start working with a client, that's the first thing that we ask them to do. We have a piece of paper with 2 columns, and the first column is, what is your end goal? So whether it's the project goal or the business goal. So what are you hoping to achieve through working together, or what's the end goal for your business? And then in the second column, they write, what is your biggest challenge to achieving that goal? And so once we've got those 2 things, then we go away and we create solutions to solve those problems. And in solving those problems, we help our clients achieve the goals that they've set.
Awesome. So I'm going to give you a couple of, a little bit of time just to do a shameless plug.
Okay.
So just tell people about what you do, who you want to talk to, and how you can help, and how best to find you. So you're on LinkedIn, so that they can reach out to you and say, hey, I've heard you, I'm interested. Just do your little shameless plug.
Okay, brilliant. So as you've heard, we are a marketing agency and we primarily do brand design and development. And so if you're looking for a website or a complete brand overhaul, we are the ones to help you with that, and helping you achieve your business goals. So we've worked with a whole range of clients and client sizes and individuals. Our largest client is THX, which is one of George Lucas's companies, right down to working with individuals who have a side hustle and they just need a digital presence. And as you've heard, we are really big on the personal aspect of your business. And so for me, my business is my lifestyle, it's my lifeline, and we treat every one of our clients in the same way, that we want to help them achieve, because when our clients win, we win. So you can find me on LinkedIn at Jospeh VanTine. There's only one of me on LinkedIn. And then you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at YOBD Digi, or our website is YOBD.digital.
So you heard it there. There's only one Jospeh VanTine on LinkedIn. Joseph, it's been awesome having a chat. I think you fared well with no script. But yeah, if you're looking to grow your business and you want somebody to talk to, Joseph is your man. I think he's been on an extraordinary journey. He's learned all the lessons, and if you're starting up and you need a business, you need some help with your business, you need to market it, you need to promote it, you really do need somebody who's been where you've been. So Joseph is your man. Joseph, thank you so much for coming down. Thank you for sharing and being honest. Thank you for tolerating my lack of script.
No, it's been great. Thank you for having me.
Guys, thanks for this first one. We've had a few technical hitches, but it's been awesome, and I hope you found some value, and we'll see you really, really soon.